And we are on Cloud Kingdom. To the bottom left, we have him in the red, starting for Team LGIM. This is...
LGIM Seed!
Seed indeed. And he will have to bring his A-game now. Bjol just defeated a Protoss player. He took Younghwa down, and now we have him at the top right of the map in the blue. Starting for Fnatic, it is...
Fnatic late call, Bjol!
There he is.
He had a big smile on his face when he saw that he had to face another Protoss player.
Yeah, it seems like that is what he has prepared for today, and Seed, very well known for his hallucination play, but also all of his matchups as of late have been really strong. He's a Codas player, super intelligent. Going gate first. Yeah. That was something I noticed when he made the pylon as well. I was like, well, some people do that and still go Nexus first, but he's going gate first here, and that is in itself already a huge difference from basically every single Korean PvZ.
We see it a lot more often, especially in the European scene. Going gate first is something that a lot of Protoss players do. Titan, for example, really love this style. It gives you the option to go for an aggressive style in the early game. You can go for a 4-gate as well, which is surprisingly effective against a lot of Zerg players these days because it's a strategy that they don't expect. On the other hand, you can go for a 1-gate expand, you can go for a 3-gate expand. Both of those strategies have a few advantages and disadvantages. You can be a little bit more aggressive, but your economy will obviously start a bit later, which might be a problem. But Zerg kind of figured out how to deal with the Forge expand, so it's definitely something that I really like to see.
Yeah, it's very refreshing to see a different strategy like this. No second gas. No second gas at all. And you know, when there are very few strategies that involve a core at this timing with no second gas, the most popular of which is the 4-gateway Warp Gate all-in. He may decide to go for a 1-gas, 1-gate expand, which is really risky, but look at that chrono energy. He has so much stored up. I think this can be nothing but a 4-gateway all-in.
And it's really strong. It's really,
so strong.
Really strong. There is a reason why this was one of the strategies that was played for months.
I still play this strategy, man. Quite
I'm not
often.
surprised.
If you were on the Korean ladder,
you get 4-gated.
You got 4-gated.
It's a high
it was probably me. You're like, this guy, nobody does this anymore. I'm like, yeah, well, it's Wolf. Watch out.
And let's have a quick look at this. He's on 23 probes on the other hand. And we have we have it on the logo. There's the expansion.
Remember though, there is a Nexus cancel version of this, and that may be exactly what we see. A Sentry is coming down here. Right now these Zerglings may be denied. He's going to see the Nexus, but that's exactly what he wants. Will he show a Sentry? No, the Sentry is not out yet. He has to block here, and he will. And the Gateway production, if it's going to start right now. So much chrono energy saved up here.
There was a game that was played in the first season of the NASL. I will never forget it. I was in Birmingham at the time with Hazorbs and Soccer had to play his match against Idra. And he used this strategy on Metalopolis. Gateway cancel with 5 gates, and Idra, well, he kind of rage quit the game. Because this is just something, if you go for 3 bases, then it will just hit you. But surprisingly enough, so far we only have 1 gate. There's the second building and...
Stargate.
A Stargate, so we will not see it. It was a possibility, it's really strong, and it can fake an opponent out, but not this time.
We talked about this too when it started out, saying it could be a very weird 1 gateway expand, and that's basically what we're seeing here. He's going to get the Stargate out, which will give him a little bit of pressure opportunities. And with the block on the natural, it makes 4-gate so much stronger because the third base as a natural is just so difficult to defend. But I think if there was like a moment of hesitation in Seed, and I feel like he decided to go for this build. He wasn't even sure before he started the game which one he was going to do, and I think he decided to make this one. And this is the better choice by far on a map like this. I think the reason why Forge Fast Expand started to take over in Korea is because on these newer, bigger maps, the pressure timings that you get from gateway expands are just not as strong. It's a lot easier to deny forward pylons. If you get caught in the middle of the map with sentries, if your opponent just happens to make a ton of Zerglings, if he scouts you, you're in trouble. But now Seed is getting a Stargate out, he's making that Void Ray, his Nexus is up and running, he denied his opponent's third for a while. And this game, even though it's it began uniquely, it's going to kind of end up into a normal PvZ.
The Void Ray is out and now moving across the map. The third base is nearly done for Bjal, who built already his Roach Warren, normal timing for his defenses. We should see an Evolution Chamber fairly soon as well. If he didn't complete it yet, but I have not seen it on the production tab. So that's the Roach Warren, no Evolution Chamber.
He will start it, I feel, with the Lair. The Lair starts now, and there it is. He just now saw the Void Ray as well. No scouting information of the Stargate until this moment. Phoenixes are rallied behind this. 4 seed. He's going to actually take out potentially one Overlord here. The ironic thing is the Overlord will grant vision of that high ground so the Queens can push it back. Now that the Phoenix is here, we'll see how he wants to engage this. He cannot fight the Queens until that second Phoenix gets here. And even so, he may just decide to go back, and I think that would be the smarter choice.
Robo is being built right now as we speak, and we have additional Queens already. So are the Spore Crawlers built by Yell, and he defends against this airplay. The thing is that his teammate earlier on, Moon, he had a huge problem against the early Phoenixes of his opponent. He lost way too many Queens, and I think that Bjal, obviously watching this game, will prepare a little bit better here. Will make sure that those Queens are on hold position, that he always has like 1 or 2 of them, even a Spore Crawler in there to back them up. That's definitely something he needs, and of course the transition into the Hydra then is kind of inevitable.
Yeah. See how much he commits to this. We saw earlier Moon committing a lot to the Hydralisk, got put into an awkward position. Look at how he uses the Void Ray to deny that creep spread. That's so important. With Stargate play, the bases, if they are not connected, that Queen at the third base is going to be vulnerable.
It's going to be vulnerable for quite a while. And
this is really... He's really just not using the energy.
Spread and how the Void Ray is able to make sure that the creep spread is not spread. But at the same time, now with the first observer that he built, he can also kill all these tumors that have already placed onto the map.
Look at this. He's been so careful and he's not wasting any energy. He knows he can't lift the Queens because smartly Björl has made a second Queen at his third base. So he has that going for him as well as a Spore Crawler. He's not actually going to be able to attack that. So he's just going to do his best with these units to deny the creep. If the Queens move too far away to defend the creep tumors, then he can kill them. So basically there's no way that Björl can actually kill those units.
A Protoss player who starts with the Stargate usually transitions right into the robotic space. This is exactly what C does here too, because you just want to force those Hydralisks. You want to force the Hydralisks, and you're well aware that Hydras might have a lot of DPS, but they are just so weak and easily killed by Colossi that the transition will hurt the Zerg player a lot if he overcommits, which is not what we see by Bjal. And he also spotted the transition, so he knows fully well what he has going to, what he has to deal with later on. He gets the Spire, and with the Spire he will be able to get those Corruptors out, but the expansion for LGIMC, that's something that he at this point will probably not be able to stop.
Yeah, he knows about it. He's postured with some Hydralisks and Zerglings on the map. The round of Roaches that he's made is going to be the most important part of this push, because he needs those Roaches to actually do the damage. One Colossus alone will not be enough to actually... Oh, catching some Phoenixes here. The one Colossus alone will not be enough to stop all of these Roaches if they are microed correctly. He doesn't have gateways up. He's just now made the cannon. This is a scary moment for Seed, because even if this attack does not commence, if he just moves back with his Roaches, he's got a fourth base going up here.
Fnatic Bjal is just trying to get his chess pieces in position. He takes down the rocks, very important for later on. He doesn't even have to use it right now, but for later it's definitely something that he has to do as fast as possible.
When you said chess pieces, I thought you said chest piercings for some reason. I don't know why.
Why would I do that?
I don't know. Look at this force field. It's not going to last forever. He needs to send some of his units back, but these Roaches are prepared.
Chest piercing, seriously?
He's got to get his chest piercings ready, man, because this attack is going to be intense.
And the force fields are well placed. Stop laughing.
The force species, man. He's got to deal with that too.
Oh god, I hate you. Nice snipe here on the Zealot, but now we have another force aiming for the third base, and there's no mining going on while the fourth is being finished for Fnatic Bjal.
These IM Zergs are so good at splitting, Protosses are so good at splitting their units.
Yeah, but look at the supply. We have 200 against 140. The Corruptors out, +1 is being started, and he is really turning on the heat right now.
Yeah, this is going to be so hard for Seed to defend. He has split so far, so good. The Corruptors pushing those Phoenixes back, and meanwhile the Roaches are going to come in a second time. The cannons are not ready.
No, they are not. He's trying to at least kill the shields on the next. There's always this pressure going on. And once again, we have Bjarl moving in here. Seed has a hard time deciding how many forces he needs to the right and the left. He's trying to defend, but now Bjarl just goes for it.
Yep, and he will get it. In the end, man, he just did not have enough peanut butter to cover the whole slice. And it turns out that the Nexus will fall. And that's all he needed to do with these forces. He only lost a few Roaches. In fact, he even escapes with some of them.
And he can just move back now. He's on 4 bases against 2 mining, 1,800 minerals. We have the gas as well to build a lot of units if need be. The transition into the infestation pit. And this bodes really well for Seed.
Yeah, it really does. This, I mean, basically, this timing that he has now to put pressure on is going to be so scary for Bjarl. He's actually making 8 Spine Crawlers right now. He only has +1 for his Roaches about to finish, whereas the Protoss army has 1-1. Actually, I thought he started +2. No, his Twilight Council is so late. Okay, so this is why things are going to be not as bad as I thought for Bjarl. So that's something that he would... Yeah, I'm like, I totally botched that, guys. I'm like actually kind of embarrassed, but this attack is still going to be a problem for him because there are so many Colossi here, not to mention the sentries, and oh, he's going to get through this concave. He decides to turn around, though. This is so weird.
The force fields were really, really well placed. They just saved those Colossi. They would have been dead meat. They would be there like sitting ducks. But he was able to make it happen, and now moving into the choke point, another set of force fields is in position, but the Corruptors, they target every single Colossi. No corruption used, though.
He wants to fight this army straight up. I thought he was going to try to go through a choke point and fight on the other side. It looks like that's not his plan. The forward pylon finishes, which is a bit of a surprise. He can warp in so many Stalkers here, and Bjarl is in trouble.
Bjarl is indeed in trouble. Seed loses his Colossi. 1, 2, they're dying, but still not enough corruption being used, and he's losing a lot of these Corruptors as well. The Hive Tech has been started. He's relying on Roaches, building the first Infestors, but now suddenly the Stalker army is moving in, and he has a lot of them.
Yeah, he's
30
got 30.
total.
If he had Blink, man, this game might have just ended. There's so many dead weight Corruptors right now floating around because, like you said, the Hive Tech has just been started. And so, as a result, he just does not have the supply in Roaches that he would want to fight this. He's got Spine Crawlers to deal with on both sides. He's trying to find the best way to approach this, and it looks like he's going to go for the 4th base. The Spine's not positioned at a concave. He's actually going to reposition some of them now. The Roaches are in position, and with no Blink, it's hard for him to commit to this. Blink just finishes.
The Hive is halfway done. The Infestors are on their way. Those Fungals are going to be important. And Bjarl with a nice defense. He's engaging. He's using everything he has right now. The force fields are decent by Seed. He's able to kill a lot of these Roaches, but they're just too many.
Too many indeed. More and more Roaches beginning to fall. As a result of this attack, though, our Zerg player has bought enough time for the Hive. He actually holds this off. The Hive is done. Now we can start Greater Spire, and he will start it immediately.
One thing that I want to point out here, we have a huge supply advantage for Bjarl, but he has 4 bases. The thing is, though, he has less harvesters than his opponent had until a second ago, so he had a lot more army supply. Most of it was in Roaches, but at the same time, I have to say that how he held these attacks, how he was always able to be in position whenever Seed wanted to walk up that ramp, move to the left, that was really, really impressive. And now he's mining from 4. He has a lot of units, and he has the tech as well. This transition is going to be really difficult for Seed to deal with.
Yep, this is going to be pretty tough. He's basically, again, going to be spread a little thin with defending against this huge army of Bjarl, but also having to hold his 4th base. I mean, like the units that he has out, when the Broodlords finish, are going to be able to attack potentially even the natural expansion. If he positions them well, he can kind of sit outside that ramp while sending Zerglings into the 4th base. Seed, however, is starting the Stargate. And that is redundant because he already has one. But that means that he's at least mentally preparing himself to get that fleet beacon.
We've seen this in the past, that just Protoss players in general, or players in general, it doesn't even matter if they are Protoss Terran or whatever, they just have this autopilot going strong, and at some point they realize, oh my god, I need to transition into a certain type of tech, which happens right now with Seed. He wants the mothership, so he throws down the Stargate, even though he already has one, kind of missing this. but at the same time, he's spot on with all of his blinks here, killing a few infestors while the Lynx
Look at the timing.
getting down.
The Broodlords are going to be out at the last second here, but they will be out in time. 10 of them, in fact. +3 Carapace coming out. That's not only for the ground, but for the Broodlings.
Seed cannot attack. He cannot blink down. So many spore crawlers, spine crawlers.
Yeah, he'll never be able to actually blink into those spines, especially with the Infestor support. He can try his best to catch some of the Infestors when they move forward, but Bjorl is doing such a good job of microing these well, catching 2 Stalkers here. This is an intense moment for Seed. Meanwhile, his third base, or rather fourth, I should say, is being attacked by Infestors and Roaches.
At the top left, we have a few Stalkers that caught on to the 5th base of Bjorl, taking it down. But the 4th of Seed, it is being treasured. He needs to blink back, and he does, probably just in time.
Oh, no, he will not save it, I don't think. No.
It goes
my
down.
God. We have seen so many of those recently. It's unbelievable.
And Bjorl now trying to catch these units. Trying to blindside them, not happening. Blink is ready, and he uses it. And here it comes.
The Fleet Beacon is finishing up now. The Templar Archives is on the way as well, but he does not have Archons in play just yet. The Vortex can help win engagements even without Archons, but he's going to want those as well. Notice his gas count is getting a little bit high, so that's going to be something that he's going to be able to use to get those Archons out despite losing that base.
And think about how much faster he could have had the mothership if he would have built the Fleet Beacon right away.
Yeah, you're very right here. That Fungal catches only 1 Stalker. And will escape. But you're so right. The Mothership, if it were a little bit further ahead, could have been out at a much more useful time. But either way, Neural is on the way for our Zerg player. But the economy for Seed, while damaged, I have to say, since he's maxed now, and he's just going to be switching into Archons as soon as he loses some of his units, he's actually fine here at this moment in time in this game. Neither player, I feel, is ahead or behind. They're both going to have to control these engagements. That's going to be the deciding factor.
He's trying to get past here. A beautiful Fungal. Quite the gamble by Seed. He gets a few units in, but very well done by Bjorl. I like how Bjorl did it. I like the idea by Seed, but it was taking a huge risk.
And now he needed to free up some supply. Yeah. Now he can make the Archons. And I think that was his idea. He was like, well, maybe this is really good. Either way, I get the Archons going.
He wanted to free up supply, and it could have worked as well. So it was a really nice move. And we have Neural Parasite now. The Mothership is nearly done. If he wouldn't have built the second Stargate, but started with the Mothership right away, he would have had it so much earlier. I want to remind you guys, it's not only about the Mothership, it's about the energy for the Vortex.
Yep, and it's not going to be ready in time. In fact, with these Infestors, here, where the Mothership is, the Mothership and the army are separated from each other. And that is not going to be good. He won't have enough energy even for a recall either. This Mothership may essentially be useless. He's going to try to escape with it, and in fact, it will get away, at least for now.
And we have the Protoss army moving in. He's trying to take down the 4th base of Bjorl. Moving in right now. Both of them are supply blocked. 3,000 minerals for Bjorl. 2,000 gas. He's building Overlords. +2 air attack is going to finish, while the 3rd base of Seed is getting obliterated by the Broodlords. We have units everywhere on this map trying to go for small attacks, go for some kind of guerrilla tactics, as Seed is trying to contest the main army for Bjorl, but Bjorl just in too good of a position.
Yeah, he's in such a great position. The supply only a little bit ahead for Bjorl, though. Seed only 30 supply down. He's heavily supply blocked, though. His production is completely halted here. And the Mothership is trying to defend with Cloak. As weirdly as it sounds, he's using the Cloak on the Mothership to protect his buildings a little bit longer because there's no Overseer in position. But now the Infestors are breaking through, and he will be able to kill us with Fungals, Neurals, and Infested Terrans. Seed in a terrible position. He's killing the base at the top left, but his army, I feel, is just too small here. There's too many Broodlords, and he's got a defensive position on the high ground.
Oh no, not the choke point. Not to the choke point. Yes, be careful here. One Vortex has been used. There is Neural Parasite. It is ready. He has the energy. This is gonna get good. This is gonna get ugly. Guys, get your popcorn. Here comes the final fight. We have the Fungal and those Broodlords. They have a great time here.
Yep, Bjorl may be able to pull his team ahead here. The Stalkers, they are in full retreat now. This is the last mining base, the only stronghold for the LGIM player.
And this game, it's so important. It's 2-2. Whoever wins this takes the lead for his team.
And with this many Broodlords out, there are 2 Cybernetics cores on the way. He desperately needs them. cancels all of these gateways. He knows this position will not be held. He needs to break through the natural. He's trying to find his way in there. He does not even have +3 on this Protoss Death Ball. He's breaking through the Spine Crawlers, but they are buying a lot of time.
And they're not only buying time, they will definitely get some kills here. And as soon as the Broodlord's gone, that's going to be huge, as the Zerglings will be so much more effective.
The Mothership is still alive, and so are several of Seed's probes. He has 19 probes alive, and they are with his main army. The Broodlords are so slow, and that's exactly what Seed is trying to use to his advantage here. He has by far the more mobile army, and he has cloaking with it. If he can manage to keep the Overseers away, it's going to be impossible for Seed, or rather for Byo, to actually engage this army.
There are 4 Overseers though. He has a lot of them, and he still is getting additional Overlords. The resources are there to get additional Overseers if need be. It's not like Bjol is out of money. He still has a mining base. He still has mining going on. And now we suddenly have Seed down to below 100 supply, and he loses everything. This time it was actually so scary. He just built the base in time.
Yeah.
The last building was going to be killed. The pilot in the main base.
He actually, if he had built that half a second later, he would have lost. He would have just been defeated. Now, one Neural will actually end the game for Seed. He cannot allow that to happen, but he has very little answer for the force he's up against. One Colossus.
And there it is.
There he goes.
The Neural, there's the Vortex though. And he drops Infested Terrans into the Vortex. Here come the Bungles and the Broodlords. They close the distance. They get into range. And oh my god, this is gonna be bad.
This is it for Seed. He loses everything. A nice attempt. GG.
There
Fnatic
it is.
pulls ahead.
Bjol with the second win. Well done by Bjol. And Fnatic is up 3-2 against Incredible Miracle. Who's gonna win today? The winner will advance in the GSTL, and the loser is out of the tournament.
You are so right, and now Fnatic with a lead, with so many more options on the bench. You see Alive given the high five, saying thank you for doing what I could not. Bill, a very strong player, and I am not in a, I mean, they're not in the toughest position they've ever been in, but they are down here against Fnatic. Fnatic making their first GSTL appearance this season. A lot of people expected them to do well. A lot of people weren't sure because it's a new team, but they have so many star players, and you know what? I think the coaching, the decision-making coming out from Hwani, Todd the captain, it's starting to show through here.
And they have 2 players left. 2 players left. I would not be surprised to see Lucira today instead of Nestea.
You're actually, you like read my mind. I was going to say, do you use Lucira or do you use Nestea? And with the results we've seen from Lucira recently in the team league, if I'm the IM coach, I would think about it. Especially because in the team league situations, Nestea likes not to be used.
Yeah.
He just does. He likes to sit on the bench and actually allow his teammates to play instead.
I don't know the reason for this. I would actually love to ask him. We had him on Off the Record just recently and could ask him a few questions. But one of the reasons that I couldn't come up with on the top of my mind is just he might be better in a situation where he can prepare for his opponent in advance.
Yeah, that's definitely something that is
the GSL
absolutely
system,
true.
where you know, like a week in advance, what maps you're going to play, who your opponents are going to be, that you can prepare a lot more, and that he just feels like this is more the style that he likes to play. And right now he has to adapt to a certain map, he has to adapt to a certain race, so maybe something that he's not all that comfortable with in comparison to other players.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, Lucira moved. He moved again.
Oh.
But it is going to be Happy. Happy is coming out.
Happy is coming out against Bjol.
That is not what I expected, man.
We have a Terran player here up against Bjol now. He looks at it and he's like, okay. I guess I have to.
He made so many good points about Nestea, though. I mean, for example, if you look at his foreign tournament results, they're not bad, but he hasn't had a breakout performance really in any of those huge lands either.
It's actually one of the points that I talked with a lot of the Koreans. I asked them, okay, in the GSL, a lot of the Koreans are really dominating. If a foreigner plays, they have such a hard time making it happen, getting a win. And when you see the foreign tournaments, of course the Koreans are still very, very strong and they win a lot of foreign tournaments. But at the same time, you sometimes see them struggles against the foreigners. It's just really something that it's a bit out of the ordinary, because I feel if they would play in Korea, they might win these games. And I asked Holt, I asked Linok, I asked other players in Korea, and asked them, okay, what is the reason for it? Does it have something to do with the preparation, that you are not able to prepare for one certain player in a map? That it's a little bit harder to adjust to whatever opponent you are trying to, you have to face next in the tournament. And they said, yeah, that's definitely one of the reasons, that it's a little bit more difficult for Koreans.
All right, guys. Well, when we get back, we are going to find out if this wild card pick with Happy is enough for the GSTL. For IM, we'll be back in 5 minutes.